Good afternoon. I've been making quite a few beard videos over the years. You may not be able to find those videos anymore for the most part. I had a point where I went in and deleted a bunch because, well, for a few reasons, but mostly because my whole theory on bearding has actually evolved recently. I would say in the last 4 or 5 months. But I thought I'd make another video on growing a big beard. I made one a few years back, and I got, before I deleted it, it had like over 5,000 views, and all the comments were positive on it. And most of the things I said in that video still stand true, but a few big things have changed since then. And since I made that video, I had hacked my beard off a bunch of times for a few different reasons. And I'm making this video now because I feel like I'm at a place now where I won't be screwing up my beard anymore. I've kind of, throughout the years, I've tried pretty much every beard advice you could get on YouTube, and some of it's good, but I would say the vast majority of it is bullshit as it pertains to growing the biggest beard possible. Now, if you're looking to grow a manicured beard that isn't very big, this video is not going to be for you. I went down that route. I tried to do a manicured beard while also trying to grow my beard, and those two things just do not go together, at least with me. I'm way too OCD, so that has brought me to this new video. The previous video I made was about 20 minutes long. It was about 15 minutes too long. But first off, I made a couple little notes so that I don't veer off topic too much. I have a tendency to ramble and kind of go off point and babble. So I'm going to try to stay on point as much as possible. First thing I want to talk about was the beard mistakes I've made over the years. I've been trying to grow a beard for probably about a decade. I started to grow a beard about the age 30. Before then, I didn't think I had a chance in hell. I've never had good beard genetics leading up to when I started, but I'm very confident in my beard genetics now. I mean, I have a natural beard line, and my beard, actually, you can't really see in the video, is literally up to here. I used to cut in a line. It was very definitive, and I'll talk more about that later, but now it's all filled in. I'm very happy with it, but I wasn't always that way. I remember growing up and seeing my uncles and my father, and they always had beards, and I'm like, I want that to be me one day. I couldn't even grow a respectable mustache like in high school, and in college I could maybe grow the mustache with a little bit of a goatee, but all I had was this little strip right through here, and it had big gaps on the sides, huge. So I shaved everything except for that mustache and that little goatee for a while, and then, over time through my 20s, I got a decent goatee, but I, still had that strip, and it started to connect. But, I always shaved the sides up, never really gave it a chance. It started to come in, I would get frustrated and shave it off. And I kept looking at my father going, and at both sides of the family, they all had beards. And I'm like, what the hell is my deal? Am I adopted or something? But it finally just dawned on me one day at age 30. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm just going to grow the beard that I can grow, and I'm going to be happy with what I have. And probably 31, 32, it didn't look so good. I still had these patchy spots through here. I kind of would scoop it out down here because any strength in my beard I had was way down here, and it didn't have any in the cheeks. So I would shave all that, and they'd look decent, I guess, but I always looked to those guys that had that big manly beard, that just big beard. Like, I'm sure everybody here who's watching these videos has seen those older dudes that just obviously they just don't give a fuck about anything, and they just let their hair grow, and they've got these big, massive beards. And if you were to ask them what they do, they just laugh at you and say, "I don't do shit. I just don't cut it. I just stop shaving." I mean, they don't even brush their beards, I'm sure, but they always have these awesome beards. So, that kind of leads me into today. That previous video I made, I went into, cutting in like your cheek lines and your neck and the backs and stuff. And, that's really always been the downfall of my beard is I could never get them straight. I'd cut one and then I'd cut the other and they weren't straight. So then I'd lower the other one, and before I know it, they're lowered down to here, and I'm kicking myself in the ass, and I just end up shaving the beard off and starting over. And this is a cycle that would just continue and continue and continue. And when, I first had the beard, I'd let, this area was weak, so I'd always shave out those little bits of hairs in there. And then, out of the blue, I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to quit doing this because it was never even. So I just let it go. And it took probably, I'm not going to lie to you, it probably took about 5 years to fully fill in this area. It's totally filled in now. I mean, I have gray hair, so in the video, you really can't tell, but this whole area here is starting to gray, and it's working its way out. But that is what it is. I kind of think it looks decent, so I'm not touching it. But anyway, my point there is I just had to leave that area alone. And over time, it did fill in. It took a really long time, and it started out with little bitty baby hairs. But then, it was 5 years, but literally I finally got to the point where, it filled in. Now, this hair right here, I have never cut it, except for when I've shaved my beard down a couple times over the last decade. But this hair just doesn't grow long. It's probably only about this long. So anybody growing a big beard, you have to realize that there's spots on your face that they hit terminal length quick. Some people it's their mustache, some people it's this area, some people the further up your cheek you go, those hairs hit terminal length faster. Now your most dense areas are going to be your chin, and around this area. I think that's why most people, that's where they grow their beard, because that's where it's densest. But if you want to reach your full potential, you got to let it all grow. And that actually leads me into my next topic, which is my theory on bearding. Is most people never grow their fullest potential of a beard because they're afraid to just let it go. They're afraid of their weak areas. They're afraid to let their weak areas out. And for most people, that's this area and their cheeks. Most people cut their line down too low because they want to cut it into that, that area that grows the fastest. But if you just let your cheek area go, now it could be, oops, I'm not going to start this shit over because I'm already 8 minutes in. So excuse me there, but I clapped my hands the fucker over. But anyway, like I was saying, the cheeks, those areas, the hairs there, they grow the slowest, and they grow on a different cycle than the other hairs on your face. Like, if you've been growing a beard for any length of time, you know that the hair on your face doesn't all grow at the same length or on the same cycle. Your chin, your jawline, that grows fast, and the cycle's pretty quick. It sheds, keeps growing, and it's longer and gets longer faster. The cheek area, those hairs, if you are continually shaving them, you may never even see them. But I'm going to tell you, if you quit shaving your cheeks for a couple months, just don't touch them, you'll start seeing all these hairs pop out that you didn't even know were there. I have not touched my cheeks in about 2.5 months, and I don't really look at it. That's another thing I do now, is I don't look too close at my beard. I used to just like analyze it. I have a mirror on the side of I have a medicine cabinet on the side of my bathroom wall, so I can open it and look in this mirror and I can see the side. I did that when I was trimming up my cheek lines and stuff. But I'll get in there every once in a while and just check things out, and I have all this new hair growth that's through here. And I've watched a couple guys on YouTube that have just let their beards go to terminal length and they don't touch anything. and they have that same growth pattern. It kind of just goes up and over, but that takes years and years to realize that kind of growth. And that's my goal now, is I want the biggest beard possible, and the only way that I can do that is to just not touch it at all. If I start trimming in lines, that's when I screw it up and end up cutting it off. So for about 2.5 months now, I haven't touched my beard at all. Nothing other than to put some product in it. I don't trim up the sides, none of that stuff. In my previous video, I went into cutting off, cutting the back line here, cutting that line in the neck, cutting in the cheeks. I'm telling you right now, if there's one thing you take from this video, if you want the biggest beard possible, don't do any of that stuff. Don't touch it. You got to let it grow. That first 6 months is the biggest. Jesus Christ. Again, not going to start it over. There's some people that edit the fuck out of their videos. Nope. I have things I want to say, and I'm, oh well, whatever. Anyway, back to the video. Jesus Christ, amateur out here. But do not touch it for 6 months at all. Nothing. Don't touch your cheek lines. Don't touch your neckline, the back. Nothing. The only trimming that I would ever recommend doing on your beard is at about that 6 month period. About 6 months in, you may want to block it off, because as you know, the chin is the lowest point. That hair grows longer. Sides, if you want them to catch up to have a nice blocked off look, I might block it off there, just kind of let the sides catch up with the front. But that's totally up to you. Some people don't do that and they get that kind of pointed beard look. Mine kind of appears to be pointed because I sit and do this all day, but actually in actuality, if I totally pull it out like that, it's actually pretty blocked off. I blocked it off a long time ago, but point is, you don't have to do that, but that would be the only trimming I'd do. I wouldn't trim the back. The back, you really need that hair, and that's another area that grows slow. So the hairs on the back, you may not even see those until you've been growing that beard for a while. Mustache, I can't say enough how important it is to let that thing grow. The only trimming I do there is every once in a while I'll pull the ends out just like this. Then any long ones that are sticking out, that have grown out a little longer than everything else, I'll trim those until it's like a nice thick just line. But I don't manicure my mustache. There was a time where I messed around with putting wax in it and stuff, but I just don't. I want a beard to be easy. I want it to be big, but I don't want to sit around and have to mess with it. I actually made a video a couple months ago on blow drying my beard. That went downhill fast. I did it for like a week, and I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, it was pretty easy, but it just added that extra step in the morning that I already didn't have time for. So it'll lead me into my next topic, which is products that I use. I'm not a big fan of buying shit, of pre-made products. I make my own beard oil, and that's pretty much all I use. I have some beard balm and creams that I've used, but it's a little too heavy. I don't like running my hands through it and feeling it in the day. The beard oil that I do use, it goes on, it's kind of, I put it in my beard when it's damp. So when I get out of the shower, I'll put in the beard oil, and that's pretty much it for the rest of the day. I don't wash my beard ever, actually, like on purpose. Like if I'm in the shower and I'm washing my head, I'll let that soap get in there a little bit, but I actually don't really touch my beard to sit and really wash it. I don't really have a problem with the itching and stuff, so I take so many showers because I'm so active that I think just that passive rinse is all that I need. But I have some of the products here that I use. I make my own beard oil, like I said. I go and buy these little dropper bottles. You can get them pretty much anywhere. And I'll make up like 3 or 4 different scents. And I'll buy these little essences, they're essential oils. This is cedar wood. I like a woodsy smell, cedar, pine, sandalwood. I'm a big fan of citrus. I'll get bergamot. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I'll get other citrus smells. And I like peppermint. So I usually have a woodsy one. I'll have like a citrusy smell, and then like peppermint. And I just, as you know, if you've used beard oil, if you use the same one too long, you don't even smell it anymore. It just, you just become accustomed to it. So I like to switch off so that I can smell it. But basically what I do is I will go and buy a big jug of almond oil. This stuff's super cheap. That's my base. And I'll fill up the bottle about halfway with that. And then I get this stuff. It's jojoba oil. This is much more expensive. Some people just use this, but I don't want to spend all that money. So I'll fill up, about another quarter of this, and then I finish it off with vitamin E oil just to keep your skin healthy. And then I just put as many drops of this in it to get it to smell the way I want. Mix it up, and then the way I apply my beard oil, some people put it in their hands and then they put it through their beard. I feel like you lose most of it that way, plus then it's all over your hands. But anyway, I have one of these brushes. Now, this brush is one of these little cushiony brushes, and this one's full of beard hair. And it acts kind of like a sponge. So what I do is I take the dropper out, and I run like 2 beads of that on there, and then I just run it through my beard. Just like this. Ooh, got it. Oh. And then I'll go up like this. That's a good look, right? Ooh, look at that. Just like that. And then I just comb it back down again. And that gets all the beard oil in. And then I have one of these little round brushes that I will use to kind of shape it if I got any stragglers that are sticking up. So that's basically what I do. That's it. And then during the day, I keep this in my back pocket. It's technically it's a tactical beard comb. These are all hand milled. These clips are awesome. You'll never break this clip. The teeth are all milled so that they don't catch. But again, you would not use this on a beard that doesn't have beard oil. Now my beard has beard oil, it goes right through it. But if your beard's dry, this would not go through your beard at all. But I keep this in my pocket anytime I'm at work or whatever, and I got a couple hairs that are out of place. I use this, and it's very small. You can find these online. I think it's Hudson something or other. But just if you Google tactical beard combs, hopefully they're still in business. They're a really good company. They're a little pricey, but you're only going to buy one of these your entire life. So, but yeah, that's the beard after 3 months of not doing anything to it. You'll watch a lot of videos online of people telling you need to go to a barber. The first thing those barbers do when you're at a barber shop is they take that trimmer and they go down the sides, and anything that's sticking up, they cut it down. Well, that really to me makes no sense, because depending on the day, any of your hairs could be sticking up. So you just trimmed off some hairs that happen to be sticking up that day. So if you went back to that barber the very next day, they could do the same thing over and over again every day, because certain hairs are just going to stand up. I say don't cut anything. If it's sticking up, add a little beard oil to it. Or if it's really sticking up, by all means, use a blow dryer with some beard cream or something and blow it down if your beard's really that crazy. My beard is super curly, but over time, the weight of it will just kind of pull it down. And you can see from the video, my beard sticks out on the sides, but over time, those hairs are going to grow and they're going to lay down. You cannot, if you ever watch Gray Bailey, one of my favorite things he says or said when he had the big beard was, you can't trim your way to a big beard. And that's so true. You can't trim to a big beard. You just got to kind of make that decision that you're just going to let it go. And once you make that decision, you just can't look at it too close, and you just got to trust that it's going to be awesome once it's done. And that goes for your weak areas too. Over time, these areas will fill in. Like I said, this is about 2.5 months, and you can see my line was here. And all of this is just that growth above my normal line. This is all up here, and you know, some people that might drive you crazy, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see just how high up that'll end up growing over time. And the back, you know, I don't touch that. I don't touch the neck. Luckily, you know, I'm kind of like a, you know, I'm hairy, but uniformly hairy. My entire body. I don't have like a big tufts coming out, but it's just everywhere. So, whatever. Probably TMI. But anyway, I don't have this big tuft coming out. It's not too long, so I just leave it all, and it's totally fine. So I thought this was going to be a short video, but I've been rambling forever. But if you've sat through this, first off, I applaud you. I probably wouldn't, but secondly, if you have, you know, if you want a big beard, you want to maybe get the terminal length someday, I think this is the only path you can take. You have to just let it go, and you will see over time. Now, this is over a long period of time. Those weak areas aren't so much they're weak. They just, you know, the further up your face you go, those hairs, they grow slower. Their terminal length's much shorter, and the cycle is much longer. So you just gotta you gotta ride along with it. Now, there are some of those outlier people out there that just, it seems like their entire beard grows all at one length, and you know, but that is far and few between. Most people, you know, their beards grow at different lengths at different times, and the only way to truly find out what your potential is just don't trim it at all. And that 6-month period, like I said, that is a very much hard line right there. At that 6-month period, if you want to block it off to give it that, you know, that full look, by all means. But if you don't want to do that, just don't touch it. Use your product to tame your beard, and you'll be great. Anyway, thanks for listening. It's very long-winded, but I appreciate everybody who does watch, and hopefully everybody can grow that beard they want. I also do a series on updating my beard, and since I've been letting it go natural, I'm about due for another beard update. So anyway, thanks. Have a good one. Bye.